Okay, you there?
Okay, I thought it might be able to explain this if I just called her and tried to text back. Okay, so now Nahi is an SPSS worker, and of course, you know, from back on your first case, I know that overturned, so or it got changed to unable to determine, but you know, she had that SPSS case open up on based off the back injury. Okay, and Nahi works for SPSS. And I don't know, because I know at one time you worked with Star, who also worked in SPSS, and I think it got transferred to Nahi, if I understand. But of course,
Hold on. Come here, baby. Come here. Sorry. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's good. So, you know, of course, you know, the investigation that came in, you know, that I've been working with you on, you know, I'm only just working on just investigating that one allegation that came in, you know, which I think we've pretty much gotten to the end of that. Now,
well, I mean, what I don't understand is, I mean, it's the same child, and why it's all being ran to all these different caseworkers. I mean, you know, first it was Natalie, then it was Sarah, and I mean, I understand that one of them service, and then, you know, it just sounds weird that at my review, you know, when I asked Sarah why she never showed up anytime after December to my house, you know, all of a sudden she disappears out of the picture. I have this new medical neglect charge, and then there's another worker at my door because she hasn't even contacted me. So if it got transferred, I mean, it just, I mean, if you see it from my point of view, it just kind of looks a little fishy, you know, first and foremost, because I spend so much time with my children that, you know, I do have friends, but, you know, my friends aren't going to sit and call in medical neglect charges on me, and it wasn't her pediatricians, because I spoke to both of her doctors as well as the caseworker at Cook Children's Hospital, you know, and asked them, you know, I don't know what's going on, but, you know, Mia's been seen by a doctor, and, you know, therapist has been out to check on her to make sure that, you know, she's up to date on her milestones and everything, and it just seems kind of weird to me that after I have my review, you know, and I asked Sarah why hasn't she been out like she was supposed to, all of a sudden my case is transferred to another lady, and then I have another charge put on me for medical neglect. That certainly isn't true, you know, because, I mean, of course I proved that, you know, all of the paperwork that I had, that she has been to the doctor, even though it wasn't her regular pediatrician. She still was seen by a pediatrician. But, you know, it just doesn't look right in my eyes. And, you know, I hope you see what I'm saying. And it's just me being a mother and protecting my kids. But it just doesn't look right. You know, I have my review. Sarah doesn't come out, and when I called her out on it, that she hadn't been out, and she said that she did, you know, I have another lady at my door instead of her, and no one ever contacted me to tell me it was transferred or, you know, what was going on. You know, and then I turn around and you're at the door saying that I medically neglected my child, and, you know, it's just, it don't look right. It doesn't look right at all.
well, no, and I told you what you're saying. I mean, I did, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to call you, to try to kind of explain, at least from what I know, okay? But I mean, like, just, because I kind of see, I mean, I told you what you're saying, so, I mean, you know, that makes total sense, and that's why I wanted to get Kirsty to call you to try to see my
You're cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, I just wanted to see if I could really try to explain a little bit. You know, because of course, you know, Natalie, you know, was your initial investigator on the first allegation that came in.
Right.
Which, you know, with the case that you had administratively reviewed. Okay. I don't off the top of my head, don't recall what those allegations were, because, you know, that's the part that I'm investigating. So, you know, when Natalie investigated
Okay.
Which is where Sarah came into the picture.
Right, and I specifically I told Sarah that I don't need the services, and, I don't have any problems, and if I did need the services and I thought that it would help me for my children, then, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I don't need the services because, I don't have any issues. I don't have any problems. And, I proved it with my review that, there wasn't enough evidence to, say that any of it was, my fault. And, it just, I mean, all these workers that I've had, and, and I specifically told Sarah, the day that I seen her at the review, I don't agree with the services because I don't need them. And for you guys to use those services on someone that does need them, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with my children. I don't need drug counseling or marriage counseling or, we're a perfectly normal functioning family. My children go to school, they go, they go to therapy. My autistic son goes to therapy, so, hold on just a second, sorry. No, Bubba, no. But, I mean, if I thought I did need them to help the kids, then yes, I would. But I specifically told her that I don't need them. And, if you guys thought that I did, then, you're more than welcome to get a court order to make me do those services. But in my eyes, I don't need them because I never did anything wrong. I delivered my child. You cannot determine the outcome of how a child is born when you're on medication. But I was legally prescribed the medication, and I proved it, and I proved that I wasn't on any other illegal drugs by hair follicle tests, and it's still... people are coming at me with, I had ECI call me yesterday for Isabella and Mia, and Isabella had nothing to do with it. I mean, it was unable to determine on her from the get-go. So I don't even know why Isabella's name was included in the ECI for services.
Right. How old is Isabella?
She's 1.5. She'll be 2 soon.
Okay. Just so that you understand why that happens, is whenever we're involved with the family, if we do ECI services or anything like that, we offer services for all children, and all children under age 3 qualify for ECI.
Oh, I know. I mean, my autistic son went through ECI. I signed him up myself for ECI, actually, when I found out that he was autistic. I went through and I signed him up myself because I knew he needed the help, but ECI never did anything for him. They came out and blew bubbles. They didn't help him with speech. I mean, speech therapists and everyone came out, but he didn't learn anything from them. And, when they called me the other day, I'm like, sorry, but I don't agree with the way they work their services for children, because every time that I had a therapist come out, my 3-year-old autistic son wasn't engaged because all they were doing was blowing bubbles, So I just, I don't see where that's helping a child by just sitting there blowing bubbles and having a conversation with the mom the entire time about just off-the-wall things. But, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I know ECI has been good on, in some cases. I can't speak for your son, obviously.
Right. Well, I mean, I got him the help he needed. So, I mean, after I, went through ECI and I, told them that, I was done with that. Plus, he had turned 3 when I signed him up for school. I mean, he's doing, awesome now. He's 3 and can read from a Bible. So, I mean, he went up,
doing good, yeah.
Very well, very well. So, I mean... Yeah. I just, ECI, when they called, I was like, no, I mean, I had the evaluation done through Cooks because I knew ECI would probably contact me for Mia just because there was another case that was open, and plus the one that she had before. But I don't agree with ECI's therapy. That's why I had Dr. Johnson sign her up through Cook Children's, and OT came out here and did her entire assessment. And I even got a paper saying that her Medicaid actually denied it because she doesn't need any services. She's on target with everything.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of, it's not a medical necessity. So, they said that it just, she doesn't need it. So.
Yeah, well, and I think that's where, because when they opened your FPSS services in your first case. That your FPSS case was never closed. It just, somewhere in between, and I don't know the reasons why, so this question I can't answer for you, but somewhere in that, your worker switched from Sarah to Naki. Now, I don't know if that had anything to do with the review, or I do know that sometimes they have to do that to even out workloads. If one worker gets, too many cases, sometimes they have to, transfer to another worker so that, workloads don't, get too heavy for one person.
The thing is, I never signed any paperwork for services, so that's why I don't understand why they're still contacting me. Or why they switched a worker over, because Sarah had came out in December and told me that she would be out. I guess she had to go on vacation, and said if I needed to contact someone to contact Stacy. And she never contacted me after that. I never heard anything from her until I seen her at the review. And I even stated that to her, I haven't heard from you. My phone number's been the same. I've been living at the same house. Why hadn't anybody contacted me? Because I know she was supposed to be out the following week, and I hadn't heard from her. But, there again, she was supposed to make this plan or something like that, and nothing was ever made. I never signed anything, and I expressed to her that I probably would not sign anything because I didn't agree with the services, and me signing something would be an admittance to guilt, which I never should have signed anything in the first place because I wasn't guilty of anything. But, the service thing, I never signed any paperwork stating that I would take services, and they're still contacting me. So I don't know, what I need to do in order to make them understand that I don't need the services. And, it's just kind of pointless coming to my door because, unless there's a court order to make me do services, you've already heard my reply to you guys coming to my door without a court order. I don't need the services, and I don't know how to express, how many times I need to tell Naki or Sarah or whoever it is that I don't need them. So, it's pointless driving all the way to Alvarado from Cleburne for me to, for them to tell me, oh, we need to see the kids, or, we need you to sign this, because I'm not going to do it. So I don't know what I need to do to inform them of that.
Well, here's what I can do for you on that. I'll just let, because that's what happened is your FPSS case has stayed open from the last case, and there were posts. Of course, Sarah and Naki can't approve the closing. It would have to be Stacy or somebody like that, a supervisor.
Right.
Which, Stacy is both Sarah and Naki, all the same department.
Well, since my review was overturned, shouldn't that have already been closed out?
No, because a lot of times on FPSS cases, we can offer services to the family. On even sometimes, like, we'll still help if he's help with something. We'll still offer services even on a rolled out.
Right.
And then, of course, yours was just changed to them able to determine. And, even in the admin review, they said.
What the heck? Oops, it hung up. I'm glad I had this camera up then. Wow. I couldn't have timed that any better.
You've reached James Ross.
This is funny. Wow.
You've reached James Ross, investigator with.
Sorry, I think it hung up. It said out of service, and then when I looked at it, it said out of service area. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm standing in my kitchen.
It happens, cell phones, gotta love them. So, we do offer FPSS services in a lot of situations, so that really had nothing to do with it. But,
But offering and pushing something on someone is two different things. And, you know, again, I expressed many times to not only Sarah, but, you know, the other lady that came out, I even told her, you know, I don't need them. So that's why I don't understand why it's not being offered, it's being pushed. And, you know, I've told them before that I don't need them. So I don't know if I need to sign, or, well, I'm not going to sign anything, but if I need to, you know, I mean, I don't know what I need to do in order to basically get them off my back about these services, because I don't need them. And there's so many other people out there that, you know, that could use them. So.
Right. No. So here's what I'll do for you. So, of course, so that explains that part of it, why you've been in contact with those people. And then, of course, like you and I have already talked about, you know, we just got the new report in. It was assigned to me. You know, I had to come out and check it out, you know, about the...
Well, I mean, I understand you're doing your job, and, you know, I trust me, I don't, you know, I don't put you down for that at all, you know, but, I mean, coming from my point of view and just having a review and having all of that happen, I mean, you know, hopefully you can see where I'm coming from now, that, you know, wow, here I have this new caseworker. I just had a case that was closed not even a week ago, you know, had a review, and, you know, I had somebody else at my door again. I'm like, wait a minute, what is, you know, it just... Trust me, I've heard horror stories, and, you know, the friend of mine that went to my review with me is one of those horror stories. So, you know.
No, and I do understand, and that's why, you know, I'm you know, wanting to call you and just try to explain this stuff to you, you know, because I do understand. So, you know, I don't want to leave you in the dark. You know, I wanted to communicate with you, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, again, I don't down you for doing your job, because
it does sound funny. I understand that.
But I mean, I don't down you for doing your job, because, you know, trust me, I myself have called CPS on a couple of people that I didn't agree with, you know, because there is children out there that, you know, are abused and neglected, and it just seemed like their cases kind of got thrown away. And then when I went through the entire month and a half of having to be supervised with my children when I did nothing wrong, it blew my mind. So hold on just a second, sorry. What's the matter? No fighting over the toy. You have two the same age that want the same toy at the same time. No. Yes, all the time. Well, they're pretty much the same age, with Franklin being autistic and her being 1.5. They're mentally the same age, so they want the same things, and it's like having twins. I know, baby. Go get the other one. Go get the other one. Look, it's right here. Look. But, I mean, you know, again, like I said, I know you're doing your job, but, you know, from my point of view, it just, I was thrown in the gutter and basically considered a horrible mother that was a drug addict, and I knew it wasn't true, and I had the proof, and I handed them the proof, and I had to pay $50 a day to someone to come out and supervise me with my children so I could keep my children at home. And the only thing that really bugged me that in the review, nothing in there stated that I had to be supervised for, you know, a month and a half or a month and a week, that I had to be supervised with my kids. Nowhere in the review did they state that. You know, and that, you know, we paid $50 a day for somebody to come out and sit with me, and that adds up, you know, especially when you have 4 children in the home. And, you know, and then at the end of it all, and you prove your entire innocence, it just, and it's not in the review to show, you know, this is what happened, and yes, it was wrong, you know, and then I have someone at my door again. It was just, yeah. I mean, I hope you can understand where I was coming from when I was just, you know, a little upset about the whole entire thing, because I would never, ever, ever, you know, yes, I have 4 kids and things get overwhelming, but what You know, what doesn't for any parent, you know, at some times in their life. But my children are perfectly healthy and happy, and they're never abused, and they're never neglected, and they have, you know, everything they need, if not more than what they need. So, you know,
I do understand, and that's why, you know, I try to work with you, you know, the best I can to, you know, be respectful of them, because obviously, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, you know, and at the same time, you know, I have to address, you know, the communication that you need to
right.
do something with it, you know.
Right.
So, and that's why, you know, like I said, you know, I try to just, you know, I do get where you're coming from, so that's why I just try to work with, you know, what I have, so I can
right.
do what I need to do to address the allegation that came in, is it true or not, but, you know, I still have to do it, and then, you know, that way I can put this to progress and you know, get it behind, you know.
Right.
You know, for you and, you know, so I can move on to other things I need to do, you know.
Right.
So, and, you know, I mean, I can get it, and that's, you know, again, that's why, you know, I tried to stay in touch with you and wanted to, you know, call you and just kind of touch base with you this morning, so.
Okay.
So let's do this. What I'll do is, and just so you know, my supervisor's just needing to get a confirmation that the information I did gather is enough to go ahead and close our case. Because, you know, as you well know, you didn't want to sign a medical release.
Right. Well, I mean, I sent you proof, you know what I'm saying? I sent, you know, a baby doesn't have to go to the doctor every month. They go every 2 months. And she's only 4 months old, and she's been seen more than that. You know, she was seen at Dr. Trevetti's every week after she came home. And then she was seen at Dr. Johnson's office at the Nest Clinic, and then she was seen again March 24th. And then she doesn't need to be seen again until she's 6 months old. And I was like, medical neglect, wait a minute, you know, she's been seen, you know.
And it looks like it from everything that I've gathered. The only difference is instead of me gathering it directly from the doctors, which is what I would have needed the medical release for, I've had to get it kind of secondhand. You know, which can still probably work. It has to be approved by another supervisor too. You know.
Right. Well.
It's all it is. It's just a formality.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, you know, I sent, you know, the paperwork that I had because I don't feel comfortable with signing any kind of medical anything anymore. I've signed and you know, it made my life a living hell for a month for signing. So, you know, again, hopefully you see where I'm coming from on that. And, you know, that's why I don't have a problem with sending the paperwork to you, but signing something I will not do. So.
And we talked about that, so no, I understand it, and so I've been working with what you've given me, and you know, what information I could gather without a medical release.
Right.
So I put it all together. I think it's all there. Again, though, because it's all secondhand, we traditionally get the information. You know, it just has to have approval of a secondary supervisor as well.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, who is the supervisor, or who is your supervisor?
My supervisor is Daphne Dale.
Okay, I don't know her.
Yeah. So, but here's what I'll do for you. She's gonna try because you know, I basically, she sent me what little bit she had without a medical release. I was able to get the information that I think was enough to get the case, you know, moved on.
Sure.
And so I presented that all to her. I think she's planning on getting with who she needs to today. As you know, as long as that all works out, I think she's already got. Before I called you, I asked her when she was planning on doing that. She said she had it scheduled for this afternoon. So let her do that, and then I'll also let her know kind of where you're at about the FPSS services, because then she can present that information as well.
Right.
And then once they discuss that, and once I get some information back, either later today or it might be tomorrow. You know, I don't know what time this afternoon.
Right.
You know, this afternoon could be any time. You know, 2 o'clock or it could be 4:30. I don't know.
Right.
But if I don't get back with you today, I'll get back with you tomorrow and kind of let you know what the outcome was for the case that I worked with you on, as far as the new allegation came in. And then I'll find out what I can as far as, on the SPSS side.
Okay.
And if for some reason, I can't, if I don't get a response about the SPSS side of it, I'll kind of give you some direction on who you need to talk to next about that part of it.
Okay, because, with an unable to determine, it's voluntary as far as the services, correct? Now that it's not a reason to believe anymore. Or...
again, every case is different because,
Go ahead. Stupid phone. They seriously must be tapping my Facebook because I just posted on there, what does it look like for a caseworker to send text messages and not even 5 minutes after I posted that on my Facebook, bam, I had a phone call from the caseworker. So that's how you know that they tap your Facebook. Yes. That's funny. Sorry, it was telling me I was out of area again.
So, but all I was saying is, obviously, the department's wanting to offer you services based on what happened. You don't feel you need them, so, which is fine. So, I'll tell my story because I think part of it is going to be meeting with the FPSS supervisor too, and then touching base with her. So I'll let her know that you don't want the services, and if the department feels they absolutely need to do it, they need to get a court order basically. It's pretty decent summary.
Right. Yeah. That sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. And realistically, I don't know at this point if they would even bother getting a court order to have you work services. But that's not up to me.
Right.
That whole different department. So I'll just kind of summarize it like that, and then let's let them, the powers that be, do what they need to do. And then when I get some information back, I will call you either late today or sometime tomorrow.
Okay.
And let you know what the outcome was, and then if there anything else, I can give you some direction moving forward if there needs to be, if they say, okay, fine, we're just not going to mess with it anymore, we'll go ahead and close out the FPSS case, then obviously there's nothing else that you'll need to do.
Right.
Close it out. I don't know if they'll do that or not, though.
Right.
So, once I get that feedback and I kind of get kind of where they're going to go with that, I'll let you know, and then, if you need to, obviously on the FPSS side of it, you want to get in contact with the supervisor over there, or her supervisor, and I can provide you all that information. It's not a secret.
Oh, I have all of it. Trust me, I have a binder full of information. So.
Okay, yeah, because Stacey Barfield is the SPSS supervisor.
Right.
And then her boss, of course, is the program director, Marty Semeniego.
Right. Yes, I've spoken to both of them. So yes, I know who they are.
Okay, all right. So, like I said, I've already got the ball rolling on this other stuff. So, like I said, let me see what they say today, and I'll call you tomorrow, and then we can go from there. Sound like a plan?
That sounds like a plan. Also, I was going to tell you on the last paper that I sent from Dr. Trevetti, when Mia and Bella had their appointment on the 24th, the one that was to be seen in 4 weeks was Isabella because she had an ear infection, and he put her on amoxicillin for it. So it wasn't Mia that needed to be seen in 4 weeks. It was Isabella.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to make that clear, because Mia doesn't need to be seen until she's 6 months, and she's 4 months now. So it was Bella that needed to be seen in 4 weeks, which was for her infection. So, but I just want to make it clear so that way you guys didn't think that, you know, Mia was supposed to be seen in 4 weeks, and, you know, here we go again, I didn't take her, because it's not true. It's, I mean...
No, you're fine. No, I appreciate the clarification, but you're fine on that. So, okay. Well, I'll be in contact with you here, you know, within the next day.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Wow. So, this caseworker actually agreed with me that it sounds kind of funny. Agreed. Yes, I agree with you. It sounds kind of funny. You know, and he's the one that has the report that states the name of who filed the report. So, yeah, sounds kind of funny, huh? Anyways, I'm glad that I turned my camera on, because I was going to record a video about my review, and I had gotten that phone call. You know, I got the phone call as soon as I turned the camera on, so yay. I mean, that was like perfect timing. I'm seriously a witch going on up in here. But anyways, showing off me. 4 months, my big baby. So medically neglected and battered and abused. Yeah, right. She's rotten. But anyways, yeah, so he agreed with me, you know, pretty much stating that it didn't sound right, and he knew where I was coming from, and also that, you know, it sounds pretty good that the case is going to be closed out on the medical neglect, because I had enough proof to prove that again, of course. But it just seems really funny that, you know, not even 2-3 minutes after I had posted that on Facebook about them being too ashamed to call, I get a phone call. Wow, it's just crazy. But anyways, have a good day, everybody, and I will be posting another video about a review here shortly. Thanks.